Hello my friends, today we are gonna design this beautiful page using React and Material UI. We are gonna be using the most useful Material UI components like AppBar, cards, avatar group, tooltip, modal, snackbar, and more. And after this tutorial, you are gonna see how easy to create a modern app design without any effort, because everything you see is ready to use components. Only thing you should do is choosing your component and customizing it to your delight. Moreover, it's fully responsive. I think it's the most powerful features of the Material UI, cause it's super easy and super fast to use breakpoints for any screen size. I highly recommend giving a shot, you won't regret it. Okay, I hope you will like it. If you want to see more tutorials like this, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. If you are ready, let's get started. Okay, firstly I'm gonna create my React application. To do that, you can write here npx create React app, and inside this folder, and after that it's gonna create your application. But if you do that, there will be some unnecessary files here, like icons, logo, service workers, and unnecessary lines inside your JS files. So if you don't wanna waste your time, you can open up our official GitHub repository. You can find this branch, React Mini, and as you can see, I'm opening source, and there is no unnecessary files here, as you can see. And inside my app.js, there is only hello world text here. And index file, as you can see, it's clear. So basically, I'm gonna use this repository. To do that, let's come here and copy this URL. And inside your VS Code, you can write git clone, and it's gonna be only single branch, and I'm gonna write here my branch name, which is React Mini. And after that, I'm gonna paste my URL inside this folder. I'm gonna enter. And as you can see, they are here. But it doesn't include our libraries. To do that, only thing you should do is writing here npm install, or if you are using yarn like me, just yarn. During this process, let's check our Material UI website, and here which library we are gonna use is here. Let's copy this, npm install or yarn add. I'm just gonna copy this. And after that, we are gonna paste our Google font. We are gonna be using Roboto. Of course, you can change it. And here, one more thing we are gonna be using, Material Icons. It's one of my favorite library. It's really useful and it's really easy to use. As you can see, there are tons of icons here. You can search for anything. Plane, home, person. As you can see, there are many options. To use these icons, we are gonna install one more package, and it's gonna be Material UI Icons. So let's install them. I will say yarn add Material UI core and Material UI Icons. Okay, let's open up our documentation. But before, I'm just gonna copy this font family and inside public index HTML, and somewhere here I'm gonna paste it. Okay, let's see our application. I'm gonna start it, npm start or yarn start. And it's ready. Hello world. Perfect. So I'm opening my documentation. Get started. We have already installed our libraries, so we don't need this section. I'm going to components. And as you can see, there are many things here. Of course, we are not gonna try everything here because it will take probably 10 hours or something. But I'm going to show you the most popular ones, the real world use cases, So it's gonna be kinda crash course. Okay, let's start with buttons, for example. We are gonna create an awesome example, don't worry. But for now, for the beginning, I'm just gonna show you how to use them. So there are some buttons here. And here, text version and outline version. So let's try a couple of them. I will open up my app.js here. And instead of hello world, I'm gonna write buttons. I will say button and material UI. Of course, you should import this first. As you can see, material UI, core and button. I'm gonna import like that. If you save and see, as you can see, it's an empty button. When you hover over, there is a default effect here. So let's change this button. I will come here and say variant, and it's gonna be contained. And as you can see, right now it's filled a color. If I come here and say color and primary, for example, right now it's blue. If I say secondary, it's gonna be red, like that. And if I change this variant, for example, outlined, it's gonna be something like that. Awesome. So it's really easy to use. You can come here and try any of them. For example, for size, we can give small, medium or large. Let's try. I will say size and it's gonna be small. Right now it's a little bit smaller. If I say large, it's gonna be something like that. Okay, and you can give some icons inside. Let's check. As you can see, only thing you should do is writing here start icon. I will say start icon, and inside we are gonna write our material UI icon. Let's choose here one of them. For example, person. Let's copy this, and here I will say person and close this tag. To import this, you can just delete last letter and write it again, and it's gonna give you some options. As you can see, material UI, icons and person. I will import this, and it's here right now. And if I save it, and our icon is here. Awesome. So it's really easy to create real world examples. Something like this delete button, send button, save. They look really nice. Or also you can use just icons. So I'm not gonna show all of them. As you can see, it's really easy and I don't wanna waste your time. If you go to the documentation, you can try whatever you want. But the important thing is here, using custom CSS. For example, you can change your colors, font size, font weight, everything you can do in CSS. So in this case, you don't have to use this primary or secondary or this text color. You can change everything. So how you can do this? So let's make content again. And I'm gonna delete this color. And here, basically you can write style and background color. And I will say, just for example, purple. Let's see. Right now it's purple. Let's say color, which is text color, it's gonna be white. Something like that. But it's not the efficient way. That's because imagine you are using tons of styles here and you have divs, buttons, texts, and it's gonna be really messier and unreadable. So I'm gonna delete this. There is a material UI solution. Let's see. I'm scrolling here and there is a styles button. Let's come here and see our example. As you can see, make style function from our Material UI core. And after that, we are creating an instance, and inside this make styles, we can write any component, our buttons, texts, divs, everything here. And after that, we are going to be using this instance inside our function. For example, we will say const classes and use styles. We are going to be able to use these classes and everything inside this style. For example, class name classes.root, which is here. So let's do that. I will come here and say const use styles, and it's going to be make styles. And inside this, I'm going to write my button, for example. I will say button color white and background color, it's gonna be black. Why it didn't import this? Let's delete here and import again. Okay, it doesn't work. I will copy this and paste here. Okay, let's create our class here, const classes, and it's gonna be use styles. And after that, I'm gonna copy this and indicate my class name. I will say classes.button, which is here. Okay, let's try. Right now it's, and text color is white. Awesome. By the way, you don't have to write here custom colors. There is a Material UI option. If you come here and say Material UI palette, and it provides us default values. For example, primary, and with 3 options, light, main and dark, secondary, error, warning, info, something like that. But to use them, I should write here theme. In this case, I can use Material UI default library. So I'm gonna close this here. So I will say theme and palette. And let's use this one, for example, palette, success and main. Palette, success, you can see here your options, success, and it's gonna be dark, light or main. Let's say dark. I will save. And right now it's green. Perfect. So what if I have custom theme colors? For example, we are gonna create an app and I'm gonna use, for example, 5 main colors, and I don't wanna come here each time and write color codes, for example, something like that, this grayish black, of course inside quotes. Okay, so imagine we have many pages, many components, and I'm gonna use this main color inside every component. Of course, copy and paste is an option, but there is one more solution for that. As you can see, we have create theme option. So you can create your own theme. For example, if you write here palette and primary is blue. And for example here, as you can see, there is primary and main, secondary, light will be something like that, main will be something like that. So basically you can write here whatever you want. And when you create really complex applications, it's gonna be really helpful for you. So let's see this example. It created this theme, and after that, we should wrap our components or pages with this theme provider. So how to import this theme provider? As you can see, it comes from Material UI and Styles. I'm gonna open up new terminal here, and I will say yarn add Material UI and Styles. After that, I'm gonna create my own theme and I'm gonna wrap my whole application. Let's come here and create new folder or just a file. I will say theme.js. And here I will say export const and theme. So I will say create theme. And inside I'm gonna write my objects. I will say palette, and I'm gonna change my primary color. It's gonna be primary, and inside main color will be, let's say, dark blue. So I'm gonna import this theme. Here you can wrap your whole applications, or you can go to the index.js and import this here. Import theme from my theme file here. So let's come here. I'm gonna wrap my whole application. So I'll say theme provider. An application will be inside this provider. I'm gonna provide my theme here. And after that, I'm gonna change this color. You can come here and say theme and palette, primary and main. Let's see. Oops, I can't write there dark blue. Interesting. So let's change it. So I will write here, it's gonna be black. Okay, it works. But how I'm gonna use these colors? Okay, firstly we are writing our color and then its tones or shades. So let's write it here. I'm gonna delete this. And by the way, we are importing these colors from Material UI core. So I will say blue. I will import and 500. Let's see. I'm gonna refresh. And it looks really nice. I will write 50 shades of gray. Let's see. I will refresh. Okay, it's something like that. You don't have to use these default names. You can create here anything you want. I will say my button. Let's say background color. Color red. Color white. And border, for example, 1 pixel, solid and black. It's gonna look a little bit strange, but I'm just gonna show you. So if I come here and delete this, I'm gonna destructure this. I will say theme dot my button. Let's see. Okay, but it's not red. Okay, there's a mistake here. Background. And it works. So once you create your own components, your buttons, your titles, for example, you're gonna be able to use it in everywhere, every component, and it's really useful. Okay, I hope you understood. I just didn't want to show you only these basic buttons. You can already reach them. There is no meaning copy and paste them and show you in a tutorial. It's really easy, but important things are here, I think. Okay, let's create something real world. So I'm gonna delete this button. And here. And I'm gonna create some components here. Firstly, I'm gonna create components folder here. Components. And inside we are gonna have Navbar. And then let's check here what we are gonna create. Firstly, we are gonna have Navbar here, and then we are gonna create Sidebar, and here we are gonna have our post feeds, and finally I'm gonna create a right bar. So let's create them. Left bar, JS or JSX, and right bar, and feed. Okay, let's close here, and I'm gonna copy this component and paste to others. Let's delete them first, these unnecessary things. Okay, I'm gonna copy this and paste for Navbar. I'm gonna change the name, it's gonna be Navbar component, and I will save. And for the others, I will do the same thing. Let's say left bar, right bar, and fit. Okay, let's close this index and theme. Let's start with Navbar. To do that, I'm gonna write here my Navbar, and let's close. And inside my Navbar, let's write something and see. Okay, let's see. As you can see, it's here. Perfect. So I'm opening my documentation, and here, components and Navbar. It's inside surfaces and AppBar. Okay. As you can see, there are many options. And I'm gonna create something like that. It looks really nice. If I open here, as you can see, it's a little bit complex here. When you look here, you'll probably be confused, but don't worry. It's not that hard. I'm gonna show you the easiest way. So basically, first we are gonna be using this AppBar component, and then we are gonna be using toolbar, and after that, we are gonna fill inside this toolbar. I'm gonna add here my logo, search, input, and our icons. So let's do that. I'm gonna delete these divs. Instead, I'm gonna write AppBar. I'm gonna import this from Material UI core. And after that, let's write here toolbar. Okay, but there's a mistake here. A is missing. Okay, let's save and see. As you can see, we have Navbar here and it's empty. Firstly, I'm gonna create my logo, but we are not gonna be using image. I will write just the text. Of course, you can use span or H1, but there is a Material UI solution for that. If I come here and search for typography, okay, it's here, but I'm just looking for my component here. Okay. As you can see, usage of this component is like that. We are writing typography, and inside we have variant, and we are gonna write here our HTML tags like H1, H2, and here is our variants. We can use them. So for my logo, I'm gonna be using H6. By the way, there is a component here. You don't have to write this. How it works, when you create H1 tag, it means you're gonna be using H1 style, but you are gonna be using that as H2. What I mean by that? Let's copy this and paste here. I'm gonna import this and let's save. If I come here, as you can see, it's H1, and I'm gonna open my console. And inside elements, let's open up our title here, our header and div. As you can see, it's H2. We are using H1 style, but our label is H2. If I say span, for example, it's gonna be still the same. It looks like really huge H1 tag, but we are using this as span. So it's working like that. So we don't need that. Here I'm gonna be using H6. And here, let's say Lama Dev and save. Okay. But in the example, remember our AppBar, it should be blue by default, but in our application, it's white. That's because we are using our own theme. To prevent this, I'm gonna just delete my theme here. We are not gonna use this theme which we created before. Let's delete and save, and it's blue right now. Okay. It was just an example. So after this logo, I'm gonna create my search bar and my icons, but before, I'm gonna show you one of the most important things. Material UI is a really useful design tool for your responsive designs. Let's open up our console, and here I'm gonna choose device toolbar here. And as you can see, this is our mobile device. If I create my search bar and icons, it's gonna be a little bit strange because it's not gonna be probably responsive. To prevent this, I highly recommend you to toggle your application time to time and just observe the behavior. If I create everything right now, it's gonna be a really huge problem for me to make this responsive. To prevent this, I should plan my responsive design also. So what I will do here. My logo is a little bit long for this device. What I will do is deleting this logo or shortening it. I can make this a little bit short. To do that, I will write here one more typography. And it's gonna be, let's say, just Lama or uppercase. So when I open my device, I don't wanna see this longer logo anymore. I just wanna see this one. So I'm gonna give them class names. I will say class name. It's gonna be my classes. Remember here we are still using these styles. I will say classes dot logo, let's say large. And for other one, let's copy here and I'm gonna paste here. It's gonna be logo small. So if I come here and say logo large and logo small, of course, comma here. Okay, so what I will say is, if this screen smaller than a particular breakpoint, don't use this long logo. Just make it display none. So how I'm gonna use media queries here? It's really easy. I'm gonna search for material UI breakpoints, and as you can see, extra small is 0 pixels, small is less than 600 pixels, medium, large, and X large. And to use these queries, there is an easy implementation. Only thing we should do is writing theme.breakpoint, and here we are gonna indicate it's smaller than this size or bigger than this size. So basically it means if my screen smaller than this key, which is 600 pixels, make this background color main, secondary and main. And for example, if it's more than MD, which is 960, make it primary main. It works like that. You will understand better right now. I'm gonna come here and say make it display none. But if my theme and breakpoint is bigger than small, I will say small, make this display block, for example. Let's see. As you can see, it's disappeared. But if I close this toolbar, right now I can see this longer one. So I can do the same thing for this Lama, this second one. I will just copy this, and here it's gonna be display block. By the way, I'm not sure there's a material UI extension or not, or if you check, just let me know in the comments. Okay, let's check. As you can see, it's my longer logo. I'm gonna open my device, and right now it's the short one. Perfect. So let's create our search button. I will come here after typography. I will say div, and class name will be classes, and I will say search. And inside, firstly I'm gonna need an icon. Let's search for it. I will say search. Okay, we are gonna be using this icon. I will copy and let's paste here. I should import it. Material UI and icons, okay. And after that, let's create our input. As you can see, search bar, and it uses search icon as we did, and it's using input based component. So I can copy this and paste here. I'm gonna import, of course, and I'm gonna write placeholder, and it's gonna be search. Okay, let's check. Okay, it's here. I'm just gonna close here. We can see better right now. We have icon and search input. Okay, we are gonna arrange this, but before, let's take care of this toolbar display because they are really close. And if I create here my icons, let's say, for example, icons, as you can see, it's here. So how I'm gonna separate them? It's really easy. I can make this toolbar display flags, and if I say justify content space between, my logo will be here, search button will be here, and icons will be here. Let's do that. I will come here and give class name. It's gonna be classes and toolbar. I will copy this, and here, before this logo large, I will say display flags and justify content. It's gonna be space between. Let's see. As you can see, they are separated right now. If I say space evenly, for example, it's gonna give even space between them. And if I say center, for example, they all are gonna be here, like that. Okay, let's change this. Perfect. So I can do the same thing for search area. That because our icon is here and search is here, we can center them. But this time it's not gonna be justify content because it's horizontal. It's gonna be align items. Let's give class name. Okay, we already gave. I will copy this, and here I'm gonna say display flags and align item center. Okay, it didn't work. Center, classes search. Okay. It's gonna be uppercase, and right now it's perfect. So I'm gonna give background color, and when I hover over, it's gonna change again. To do that, I don't want to waste time. I'm just gonna copy and paste from here. Let's check this. Search button here. As you can see, we are gonna be using Alpha. It comes from core and styles. Let's copy and paste this. And by the way, we are using hover like that. I know it's a little bit strange, but it's how it works. So I will copy and paste here. I'm gonna import this alpha. Of course, you don't have to. You can use here white or just soft blue. It's gonna be something like that. So how I'm gonna give border radius? Of course, you can write here border radius 10 pixels or something, but there is one more thing to use. It comes from Material UI. You can write border radius. And here, instead of writing 10 or something, we are going to be using our theme again. So I will say theme, shape, and border radius. So it's going to automatically give us a border radius. Something like that. Okay, perfect. But it's really small for this screen. I can write here width 50%, for example. You can try and change. You can make it bigger or smaller, but it looks really nice for me. It's gonna stay like that. And I wanna separate this icon and this placeholder. Let's come here and give class name for this. Class name is gonna be classes. and input. And let's write here input, and I will give margin, and it's gonna be white. Let's say color white, and margin left, it's gonna be, again, you can use 10 pixels, 20 pixels, whatever you want, but you can also use your theme. And spacing is gonna be 1. Let's see. Okay, it's white and there is a space. If I make this 2, for example, it's gonna be longer. Perfect. Why we are using them? It's really useful when it comes to consistency. That because we are giving space here 10 pixels, for example, and give somewhere else 20 pixels, sometimes 15, and there is no consistency. If you write just 1 here, you can use same thing for other components, and it's gonna look a little bit better. Okay, let's come here, and instead of icons, I'm gonna create another div, and class name will be classes and icons. And inside, I'm gonna create my page. What's page? Let's check here. Okay, it's here. As you can see, it allows us to use icons and some notification numbers here. It's really nice. So I can copy this. Actually, this one, because it's secondary, it's gonna be red. Let's copy this and paste here. Let's import this page. And here, my icon will be male. I'm gonna import this also. And let's check this out. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna create one more page, and it's gonna be our notifications. Let's write here. And it's gonna be 2. Okay, and right now I'm gonna create my avatar, my profile picture. To do that, material UI solution, I'm gonna write here avatar. As you can see, it's here, and it's really easy to use. You will just write avatar component and your source. Let's copy this, and I'm gonna paste here. Of course, my source will be different because we don't have any static file, and I'm gonna copy my source and paste here. Let's import this and see. As you can see, it's here. Perfect. So I can do the same things for this icons component, div. So I will copy this, and here I'm gonna say icons and display flags and align items center. Okay, awesome. So let's give class name for these pages, and we can separate them. We can give spaces. I will come here and take 2 of them, and I will say class name, and it's gonna be classes, and let's say batch. Let's copy this, and here I'm gonna use spacing, so I will say margin right, and it's gonna be theme space spacing, and it's gonna be 2. Let's see. Okay, awesome. It looks great, but if I open my device, as you can see, it looks pretty ugly. So what I will do is deleting this search input and creating here a button. So when it's smaller than 600 pixels, we are gonna be seeing this icon. I will create here search icon. And I'm gonna give class name. Classes, and let's say search button. Okay, it's here. Firstly, I'm gonna give spacing, and after that we are gonna do something more professional. Search button and spacing will be the same. I can delete this area. Remember, we are gonna be using this phrase. So for this search button, I will say if it's smaller than small label, it's gonna be display none. Okay, but when I click this, nothing is happening. This area will be disappeared, and we are gonna see only search button here. What I mean by that, you will understand better right now. Firstly, I'm gonna create useState hook here, and I will say const open and set open, and at the initial state, useState, it's gonna be false. Okay. So when I click the button, I'm gonna update my state. It's gonna be true. And when it's true, I will say make this style of this area display none and show me my search input here. It sounds confusing right now, but you will understand better right now. Don't worry. And I will say on click event, if I click this button, update my state and set open will be true. Okay. So how I'm gonna apply this condition? If you are using Material UI, it's really easy and it's really powerful. You can do this with CSS directly. So I will write here my open state. So basically, you can pass any prop to your use style here. And I can use this prop anywhere inside this style elements. For example, I'm gonna be using in my search div. So I will come here and say, if my screen is smaller than SM, make my display, and I'm gonna create here my condition. Take the props, and here, props.open, which we passed here, open, we are using this. And if it's true, make this flex. So we will be able to see this. If it's not, if it's false, make it none. Of course, code here. Okay. Let's see. I'm clicking and it's here. Awesome. So I can do the same thing for this right side. Icons div. I will copy this and here for icons, remember it's our div. I will say if open is true, it's gonna be none. If it's not, it's gonna be flex. Actually, I can delete this breakpoint. We don't need that. And I can delete this flags. And we have only one condition here. If it's open, it's gonna be none. If it's not, it's gonna be flex. Because we don't need it. If I close here and in desktop mode, we are not gonna see this icon. So it's not gonna be possible to set our state again. So I can write my condition here. I will say if it's bigger than small, make this display none. So here, search button, I will say if it's bigger than SM, it's gonna be none. So if it's small, as you can see, I'm clicking and we see this search. Awesome. I can stop this here, but I want you to make more practice on these props and conditions because the important part of Material UI is just these props and conditions. Others, if you go to the documentation, you can just find. When I watch any tutorials about Material UI, they are just showing you avatars, just grid systems, typographies, but there is no sense. Lama Dev is for real-world applications. So what I will do is creating here one more button. It's going to be our cancel button. And when I click this, we are going to roll back everything. We are going to see our icons here. let's do that. I will come here and inside my search div, after this input base, I'm gonna create one more icon, which is cancel. As you can see, material UI and icon. And I'm gonna give class name, and it's gonna be classes and let's say cancel. And I'm gonna write here on click, my state will be false again. Oops. Okay. Set open, and it's gonna be false. I will close here, actually, you can see better. Okay, let's see before. As you can see, our button is here, and I'm clicking. As you can see, they are here again. Perfect. So I can make this bigger, maybe. If it's small, let's say width, maybe 70%. It's too much, I think, but we can try. No, it looks really nice, so it works. But if I go to the desktop mode, my button is still here. Let's create our breakpoint for this. I will come here, after input, I will say cancel, and I'm gonna write my breakpoint. Theme and breakpoints, and I will say if it's bigger than small, display will be none. And it's not here anymore. Perfect. I'm opening my device again. It looks awesome. I'm clicking and it's here. I'm clicking cancel and I keep seeing my icons. It works. So let's create other components. And firstly, I'm gonna create my container. To do that, we can search for container. Oops. It's here. As you can see, it's regular container bounded by the max width, and you can make it fixed, and that's all I think for the container, so we can use it here. I'm gonna open my left bar. We finished here. I can close, and instead of div, I will say container. Okay. And inside, I'm gonna create my menu. My each item includes one icon and one text, like home icon, home page, video icon, videos, something like that. Let's do that. I will say div, and class name will be classes, and let's say item. One icon, let's say home. By the way, I'm not searching for them to prevent wasting time. If you come here and just write home, it's here. I'm not writing because I already know. I use them a lot. So what else? I'm gonna write here typography, and I'm gonna write my menu name. It's gonna be home page. Let's give classes for them. It's gonna be icon, and it's gonna be text. So I can replicate this item. So how I'm gonna see this left bar, I'm going to app, and here I'm gonna create one more div, because in our application we are gonna see our left bar, feed, and right bar. So in this case, I'm gonna create here a container, and it's gonna include our whole items. But I'm gonna give some size for each item. For example, left bar is gonna be 2 units, for example, or 3. Our feed will be a little bit larger, let's say 8 units, and the right bar will be 3 or 3 units, something like that. To do that, we can give sizes or percentages for each component. or we can use grid system. Let's come here and write grid. And as you can see, it's really important. It uses CSS flexbox. So it's not using grid system. Let's see how we are using this. I'm gonna open this code. And as you can see, we are creating grid. And first, it's gonna be container, which wraps our whole grid here. And after that, we are gonna create another grids, and they are gonna be item. So it's an item, item, item. And we can give spacing for them. And that's all, I think. You will understand better when I write here. Let's come here and write our container grid. I'll say grid. Let's import. Okay. And it's gonna be container. And inside, I'm gonna create 3 more grids. This is gonna be my left bar, feed, and right bar. And they all are gonna be item. Oops, here, item. Okay, if you come here, there's an awesome example. As you can see, we can separate them. Imagine we have 12 units. And if you write x as 12, it's gonna contain whole your main container. If you write 6, it's gonna be half of your container. If you write 3, it's gonna be something like that. Of course, you can use breakpoints. You can say, for example, for x small, it's gonna be 12. If it's small, it's gonna contain half of the screen. So I will come here and say small. If the screen is small or bigger than small, I will say let's make it 2, and our feet will be 7 and right bar will be 3. So total 12. Okay, let's write here our components. It's gonna be left bar and feet and right bar. Okay, let's write for them something and we can see better. I will say right bar and feet. Let's open our application. Okay, we have a problem here that because we didn't give any position for this navbar. So if I come here and open up my navbar, and I'm gonna come here and say position static. If I do that, as you can see, it works perfectly. What else we can do here? We can write, for example, fixed. If I do that, we are gonna have same problem, but when we scroll our application, we are gonna keep seeing it. It's better option, I think. So in this case, I can give some paddings here for each items. So let's do that. If I go to the left bar and for my container, let's say class name, and it's gonna be classes and container. And here I will say container padding top, and I'm gonna be using my theme and spacing, let's say 10. Let's see. Okay, awesome. And for others, I'm gonna do the same thing. I will just copy here, and for right bar and feet. And I'm gonna use container here. Let's copy this, and for right bar and I can delete this div. I'm gonna import my container. Okay, for feet I'm gonna do the same thing. Let's paste here and inside I will write feet, and I'm gonna import container. Right now they all have padding, and it's gonna look something like that. Awesome. So let's take care of these items. I will say item, and it's gonna be display flags, and I will say align item center. Let's see. Okay, I can give some margin. I will say margin bottom, and I'm gonna use spacing, theme.spacing, let's say 3. Maybe more, 4. Okay, but when I go to my device, we are gonna be seeing only these icons, and spacing will be a little bit more. So I will write here theme.breakpoints, and if it's more than small, it's gonna be spacing 3. But if it's not, if it's for mobile device, it's gonna be 4. So if it's for desktop, I will say cursor pointer, I will close. Okay, so I'm gonna give background color for this left bar. So I will come here and say background color, theme palette, and primary, and main. Okay, so as you can see, it doesn't contain whole screen here, so I can write height and 100 VH, which is full screen. Okay, awesome. I can change this color white. So how I'm gonna delete these texts? As you remember, we have class name here, and I'm gonna come here and say, actually I can copy this and paste here, and if it's small screen, so down, I'm gonna say display none. Okay, but as you can see, we have a problem here, that because we didn't arrange any size for our grids in the small screen, is for desktop, our application, and I will say if it's smaller than SM, which is X small, it's gonna be 2 again, and my feet will be 10. So in this case, we don't need this right bar, so I don't wanna see that. I can write here my class name, and it's gonna be classes, and let's say just right. So if I come here and say right, and for small screen, theme.breakpoints, and if it's smaller than SM, it's gonna be display none. As you can see, we don't have right bar anymore, and left bar is 2 units and feet is 10 units. If I go to the desktop, it's 2 units, 7 units, and 3 units. Perfect. But in this case, it doesn't look good. I'm gonna change this color. Let's come here, left bar, and my container. I'm gonna write breakpoint again. I will copy and paste, and I will say if it's bigger than small, background color will be white. And I can change text color. It's gonna be color, and let's say 555. Okay, nice. Maybe I can give here border 1 pixel, solid, and something light gray, but maybe softer, something like that. Let's try. Okay, it's nice. Maybe I can make this icon smaller. Let's come here, item, before text I can write here, icon. Because remember, you have class name, I can change it. So I will say, firstly I will give margin, because they're really close. Margin right, and I will say theme, spacing, and 1. And after that, I'm gonna use my breakpoints. Theme breakpoints. If it's bigger than small, it's gonna be font size 18 pixels, for example. Okay, it's better, I think. And maybe I can give font weight for this text. So if it's bigger than small, so I'm not gonna write here, I'm gonna write here, font weight, it's gonna be 500. Let's see. Okay, it's better, I think. Right now, I'm gonna write different icons and texts here. I will see you then. Okay, it's ready. It looks nice. If I go to the device mode, and as you can see, it looks much better. So what about this feed? Let's open our component here, feed. We can write here our posts, but the better option is creating here another component, and I will say post JSX. So I will copy here and paste here. I'm gonna change my component name. It's gonna be post, and we don't need it. Hello. Of course I should cover this first. Okay. So here I'm gonna write couple posts. I'm gonna call my component. Okay. Right now I can duplicate this like that, and let's see. So I'm gonna close here, and I'm gonna create cart component here. Let's check that. I will write here cart, it's here. As you can see, you can create your simple cards. It's a good dictionary example here, and outlined, and as you can see, something for social media, and width for image and some information. We can use this actually. It looks nice. Let's see how we are gonna use it. As you can see, we are creating card component, and inside we have action area and content area. We can write our image component, and for the content we can write our title and descriptions, and we are gonna create our buttons. And it has some default effect here. It looks really nice. So let's use it. I will come here and post. I will say cart. And I'm gonna import from material core, and inside I'm gonna write cart action area. And here I'm gonna write my image, which is cart media. Okay, let's give class name. It's gonna be classes and media. And then I'm gonna write my image address. I will just copy and paste it. And finally, we can write here any title. It's like alt for HTML. So I will say title, it's gonna be my post. Okay, and after that, let's say cart content. And inside, first we are gonna have title, typography, and I will say my first post, and it's gonna be variant H5. And one more typography, and it's gonna be body. And let's write here something using lorem. So let's check. As you can see, our posts are here, but I can't see my image. Card media, and it's here. It looks okay, but let's give some height for this. Maybe that's the reason. I'll say media, and height will be, let's say, 250 pixels. By the way, you can write this directly like that. It's exactly the same thing. Let's try. Okay, it's here. We need height. Okay. So what about our actions here? Our buttons. I will come here after action area. I will say card action. Okay. And here I'm gonna create two buttons. Button. First one will be, let's say, share, and other one, learn more. And I'm gonna write here my size is gonna be small buttons, and color will be primary. Let's see. Okay, and I can give some margin here. So I will come here and say class name, classes, and card. Let's copy this, and here I will say margin bottom, and theme spacing is gonna be 5. I hope it's enough. Let's see. Okay, it's good actually. Maybe I can give here margin also. To do that, you can give here class name and say margin bottom. But one more thing you can do is writing here gutter button. Okay, there is a little bit more space. Perfect. I will just duplicate this text. Maybe it will look better. But as you can see, this body text is a little bit small. If I change this to body 2, okay, it's much better, I think. Because remember, the beginning of the video, in the typography section, we have H1 to H6 and body 2. And as you can see, our navbar is always here because it's sticky. So I can do the same thing for left and right bar. Because when I scroll the page, it looks empty, so it can stick here. How I'm gonna do that? I will come here, left bar, and my container. Here I will say position, sticky, and in this case I should indicate any position, and it's gonna be top 0. So it's gonna stay on always top 0. I'm scrolling, as you can see, it's here. Let's open our device. It looks really nice, and I'm scrolling, it's here. But here, this image looks a little bit strange. Maybe I can just make it smaller. Let's come here, post. And for media, it's here. I'm gonna use breakpoints, theme breakpoints. And if it's smaller than SM, it's gonna be height, let's say 150. Okay, it's better, I think. So I'm gonna create another component, and it's gonna be add. Let's copy here and paste here. I will delete this container and change my component name, add, and I'm gonna delete here. And we don't need container, by the way. I can delete this and delete post. Okay, I'm going to app.js, and here I'm gonna write my component. But make sure that it's your component, because first thing is our icon. So I'm gonna choose my component and close this tag. And let's see. If I scroll the page, as you can see, add is here. But I will make this position absolute, and I'm gonna create button here. To do that, let's check out our documentation, and I'm gonna search for tooltip, I'm sorry. Okay, it's here. And there is some examples here. And when I hover over, as you can see, there's a text under, and it says add. There are some other examples like that. You can create normal button, but for the tutorial, I just wanna show you something like that. It looks really nice. Okay, I'm gonna use this one. Actually, I can just copy and paste, so I will paste here. Let's import our icon and fab and tooltip. Let's see. Oh, there's a problem. Tooltip, fab, there is no add. By the way, our component name is add also. That's the reason, I think. Let's come here and I will say icons. Our icon name is add also. So I'm gonna change this name. It's gonna be as add icon. So I will write here add icon. So there will be no problem, I hope. And right now it's here. Perfect. So I can change this color. It can be blue. It was secondary, I will say primary. And for this class name, actually I can change it. Let's say fab. And here I will say position fixed. You can make absolute also, but I wanna see this always here, so I'm gonna make it fixed. And let's give some position. It's gonna be bottom 10 and right 10. Of course they are comma. Okay, let's see. And perfect, it's here. And it's fixed. Maybe 20. Okay, it's better, I think. Right now, what I'm gonna do is creating use state hook and create open and set open. And when I click this, we are gonna create here a model. So let's come here. I will say const open and set open. We did this before, remember? It's gonna be similar, not the same, but similar. Use state. And at the beginning, it's gonna be false. And when I click this button, I'll say on click, and it's gonna be set open, and it's gonna be true. Okay, so how I'm gonna create model? Let's come here and search for model. It's here. As you can see, there is an example. When I click, it's opening model here. And when I click somewhere else on the screen, it's closing. Awesome. So let's create after this tooltip. I will say model. I will import, and inside, let's say hello. I'm gonna write here open. When it's gonna be open up, when our state is true. Our state here. Let's see, but I'm gonna create here container first. I'll say container, and inside, let's say my model. I'm clicking, and as you can see, something happened, but we can't see it here. Okay, it's here. That's because we didn't give any size for our component. So let's do that. I will come here, and for the container, I will say class name. It's gonna be classes and container. Let's copy this, and here I'm gonna say width, for example, 500. Oops, I can't do like that, like CSS. Width, it's gonna be 500, and height, let's say 550. And background color, it's gonna be white, and I will give position. Let's try before whether it works or not. Okay, perfect. So I can center that. I will say position absolute. So if I say top 0 and bottom, left and right, and if I write here margin auto, it's gonna be centered. Oops, didn't work. Okay, I have a mistake here. Okay, perfect. Of course, it's not the only solution for centering, but it just first thing came my mind. Okay. For the desktop, it's nice, but if I go to the device, as you can see, it looks a little bit strange. So I'm gonna write here condition. I will say theme and breakpoints. And if it's smaller than, which means down and small, and I'm gonna say width 100 VW and height 100 VH, which is full screen. Let's see. Okay, right now I can create here a form, so we can enter our title, post description and other things. What can we try? For example, select radio and text fields, something like that. So it will be nice, I think. Let's do that inside my container. Okay, let's delete this and create a form. I will say form, and I will give class name. It's gonna be classes and form. So I will say autocomplete, and it's gonna be off. That because I don't want to see my credentials there. Okay, let's create first item. Let's create div. Class name is gonna be item. Classes item. And my first item will be text field here. Like that. It looks really nice. Let's copy this and paste here. I'm gonna import, and label will be title. Let's see, something like that. And it's a little bit big. I will say size small. Okay, nice. I can make this input full screen 100%. To do that, you can give class name, but I'm gonna write here quickly. As I said, you can use it like that if you are not using lines of codes. So I will say 100%. So I'm gonna need one more div, and it's gonna be description and style 100% again. Something like that. But it's not gonna be only one line input. Let's come here. We can change it. Validation, multi-line, you can check everything here. So let's check it. How is the usage? Variant is outlined, and we can give any rows here, and it's gonna be multi-line. Actually, I can just copy here and paste here. I'm not gonna delete label and size, and I'm gonna delete this label. Okay. Let's see. Okay, perfect. I will change it. Tell your story. Okay, nice. We are gonna handle this margin and padding inside our form, don't worry. But before, let's create something different. I'm gonna open new item div here. And this time, let's use other text fields. As you can see, there are some select buttons here. We can use them. They look really nice. You can use icons for texts. There are tons of things here. Okay, let's check this. How is the usage? As you can see, we have text field again. And after that, we are using an array. And our all items are here. Okay, we can do this without any array. So let's come here and say text field. And this is going to be select. Type will be select. And let's say label. Visibility. And here, my items. First one will be public. And my value will be public again. And I'm gonna duplicate this. This is gonna be private. And it's gonna be, let's say, unlisted. Let's see. Okay, there is no value here. Let's write something. Value, let's say public. Okay, when I click, I can choose any of them. And when I click out of the box, it's gonna be closed. Perfect. So what else I can use? I can use radio. Let's come here. I'm gonna choose radio here. And as you can see, we can give some options and user can choose one of them. Disabled option, we can use it also. And other solutions. Okay, let's use it. Actually, I can copy and paste it. I don't want to waste time. So here, I'm gonna create another div and paste it. Let's import them. Import this label. And here, I will write radio again and import from our core. Okay. Of course, class name for item. And here I can write any form label like this. I forgot copying this. I will copy and paste. And let's import this also. And here it's not gonna be gender. It's gonna be, let's say, who can comment. Like that. Okay. Let's delete them. We are not gonna select anything. It's just gonna be design. And here, for the first one, value and label will be everybody. And second one, let's say my friends, for example. And it's gonna be nobody. And for this disabled one, let's write something creative, custom, and we will say custom, but it's for premium accounts. So I'm sorry, you can't click it. Awesome. And we can't click this one. But they are really big. Maybe I can give some size here. Let's choose all of them. And I will say size small. Okay, it's much better, I think. And after that, finally, I'm gonna create my buttons. Let's create another div. I will copy this and I will create two buttons. Button. First one will be create. Let's write here our variants. And it's gonna be outlined. and color will be primary, which is blue. And one more thing, it's gonna be secondary, and here I will say cancel. Let's see. Okay, perfect. But I can give margin here. So I'm gonna just write here style. It's just one property, so I will say style. It's gonna be margin right, and it's gonna be just 20, for example. Let's see. Okay, nice. So when I click this button, I want to close this modal. So what I will do is really easy. I will say on click event, and it's gonna be set my open. Remember, it was true, but this time it's gonna be false. I'm clicking and it's closed. Open, closed. Awesome. So what about this style? Let's take care of this form and these items. I will come here after container. Sorry, it's for breakpoint here. I will say form. I will give some padding. It's gonna be theme.spacing, let's say 2, like that. And for items, margin bottom, and again theme spacing, it's gonna be 3, like that. It looks really nice. I can write my title, description, and set my visibility and who can comment. I have typo here, let's correct this. Okay, who can comment. Okay, what else we can use? Let's make it fancier. When I click this button, I wanna see here a line, and it's gonna say the post has been created or something like that. It's really easy on Material UI again. I will come here and say Snackbar here. So I'm clicking, and as you can see, there's a notification here. Of course, we can choose any warning. Sorry, this is error, this is warning, information, and success. We are gonna be using this one. When I click this button, as you can see, it shows up here, and after a couple seconds, it gets disappeared. Okay. As you can see, Snackbar and alert. This is a success message. I'm gonna copy this, and I'm gonna paste after this modal. I'm gonna import this. So how we are gonna use it? Let's come back. I'm gonna open this code. Firstly, as you can see, our alert comes from Material UI lab. So I should import this library. Of course, you don't have to do that, but I want to see that green notification. It looks really nice. So I will say yarn add Material UI lab. And after that, I'm going to create my alert function. And I'm going to import this. Okay. And after that, let's check here. As you can see, auto hide duration is 6 seconds. Maybe we can do it 3 seconds or something. But to use that, you have to create here handle close function like this. And there is a condition here. If the reason is click away, it's not going to run anything. Otherwise, the set open will be false. Of course, we already have open and set open, but it belongs another tool. Remember our button? So we should create new use state. By the way, I know this function is a little bit confusing, but how this auto hide duration works. So we have to write this. So don't worry about that. So I will come here and paste. Of course, it's not gonna be set open. Let's create another one. Open, let's say alert. And set open alert. It's gonna be false. So in this case, I can replace this. Okay. So let's come here. I wrote everything here. I know you can create another components and separate them, but I just want to show you everything inside one component, that because it's easy to understand. Let's save our file and let's try. By the way, it's not gonna be open, it's gonna be open alert. Let's see. I'm gonna open my model, and if I create something, it doesn't work because we didn't write our function. I forgot that. For create, here I will say on click, and it's gonna be set open alert. It's gonna be true. Let's see it again. I'm clicking and it's here. And after 6 seconds, it's gonna be disappeared. I can change it, let's say 3 or 4. Okay. But it shows up here. But I wanna see this. For example, here, how I'm gonna do this? If you come here, and as you can see, you can change the position, top right, bottom center. Okay, so we are gonna be using this one. So how is the usage? Let's check. And here, as you can see, we have anchor origin, and we are providing an object which contains vertical top or bottom and horizontal left or right. So I can copy this. It's gonna be bottom left, and I can write here anchor origin, and I'm gonna paste this object. I will save, and let's see again. I'm clicking and it's here. After 4 seconds, it's gonna be disappeared. Awesome. So we've almost finished our project. What else we can write here? I didn't think about this, but we can check. If you find something nice, we can add on our right bar. So let's add our friends, for example. Where is the avatar? Okay. We created our profile picture. Another options here. For example, you can just add letters here. You don't have to write any image URL. For example, if user doesn't have any profile picture, you can use these letters. Or here, there is a avatar group. We can use this group and see our friends' avatars. So I will copy this. There is nothing special here. So I will open right bar, and here inside container, I'm gonna paste it. But before, I can create a title. Let's say typography, and I will say online friends. And here I will paste, and I'm gonna import my components. Avatar group and avatar. So I'm gonna add here the full URL. Okay, let's see. As you can see, it shows the first 3 avatar, and then it says there are 2 more. So if I change here to only 1 avatar, let's say 6, and I will say 6, 7, 8, for example. As you can see, it works like that. By the way, if you don't have any profile picture, let's delete this, for example. As you can see, automatically it shows this no avatar image. Perfect. I can change this title. Let's give class name. If I write variant, let's try. I will say H6. No, it's too big, so I'm gonna use class name. Class name, and it's gonna be classes and title. I will say font size. Let's say 16, and font weight will be 500, a little bit thicker, and I will give color. Maybe space here, you can write here, or you can say cutter bottom. Okay, perfect. What can we add here? Let's see. We add badge, snackbar. We can add slider. Okay, it's not image slider, it's for inputs. Maybe image list. Okay, it can look nice. We can try. I'm gonna copy this, and here I'm gonna add another title. I will move this here, and it's gonna be, let's say, gallery, for example. And after that, I'm gonna paste this. We don't have any array. I'm gonna delete this. Let's import and list item. We don't have array, so we don't need this. And I can delete here. And let's paste some images. Actually, I can use them. And I'm gonna replicate this. 6 is enough, I think. And let's choose other ones. As you can see, it looks really nice. If you want, you can change this height. Only thing you should do is writing here 100, for example. Like that. And if you want to, you can change this column number. For example, just 2. In this case, it's gonna look like that. If you say 4, for example, it's gonna look like that. It's really useful. If you try to do this with only CSS, it can take really long time, but thanks to Material UI, it's really easy. So let's change it again, 3. And by the way, I will give space here. So I will come here, and actually I can write here style. It's only one element, so I will say margin bottom. It's gonna be 20. Okay, perfect. What else we can use? I don't know, there are many things here. Maybe we can add just categories. Let's write another title. By the way, again, I'm gonna give margin bottom. So let's say style, and margin bottom is gonna be 20 again. Okay. I'm not sure, should I do this 2 or 3? Both of them looked really nice, but I don't know, doesn't matter. Let's change this. I will say categories. And here I'm gonna add my links. If you search for links, it's here. And as you can see, there is basic link here. I'm gonna copy. What else we have? Okay, only this, I think. You can change color or variant. So I will just paste it. Let's import. And I'm gonna delete this. Let's say sport, for example. And I will give class name, classes, and link. Okay, I can duplicate this. Food, for example, movies, and let's say science. Let's see. I can change this variant. It looks a little bit ugly. Variant, and it's gonna be body 2. Okay, I can separate them and make them bigger. Okay, we have class name. Let's come here and I will say margin right. It's gonna be theme and spacing, let's say 2. And color will be a little bit softer. And font size, let's say 16. I should cover this with code. Okay, let's see. Okay, nice. But as you can see, it's too close to this button. I can see this last letter. What I can do is separating this list. Of course, there is an easy way to do that. I will search for divider. Okay, as you can see, you can divide your items like that, like this, or as you can see, like that. We are gonna be using this one. So when we divide our items, the second side is gonna move to other line. So how I'm gonna do this? I will say divider after 2 items. I can say here divider. I will import, and after that I'm gonna write flex item. So let's see. As you can see, we divided them. 2 of them are here and second part is here. Awesome. Of course, I can give space, style, margin bottom. It's gonna be 10. Style. Okay, maybe less. 5 is okay, I think. Okay, perfect. So I can add 2 more, I think. It's gonna look better. So I will say, what can I say? Music. And here I will say live. Okay, perfect. And as you can see, it's not sticky, so I can do the same thing as we did for the left bar. Remember, we set position sticky and top 0. So I will paste it. And awesome. So we can make more examples, but it's totally enough for this tutorial, I think. We learned a lot of things and it looks pretty nice. For the beginning, it's an awesome project. After creating this example, you can go to the documentation and search for others. And I know, as I said before, if you have never used any CSS framework or design tool like that, it can be confusing, but after couple examples, couple projects, you are gonna see it's a time saver, and after couple usage, you are gonna memorize some tools here. You don't have to go to documentation and check, you are just gonna write your code by your heart. Okay, it's that easy. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you learned something new today, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. And if you write any comment, even just one word, I would be appreciated and it really motivates me. And don't forget to follow Lama Dev social media accounts. You can ask your questions there and you can find your coding buddy. You can share your projects. Okay, that's all I think. I hope I will see you in the next tutorial. Goodbye.